It's the 13th of February 2023, 3 days after that deadline given by the Central Bank of Nigeria for the use of old notes, 200, 500 and 1,000 naira denominations. But of course, that has become unclear now since we had that Supreme Court order and no response from the central bank so far or reactions. We've also had other suits which have been filed by some state government against the federal government. Anyways, Business Morning is here to share all necessary information and make it as clear as possible. I'm Ini John Mekwa. Let's spend the next 55 minutes on this and other current business issues. So before we head to Nigeria, let's see what's going on with global oil prices. We can tell you that prices eased on Monday after rising 2% in the previous session as investors focused on short-term demand concerns stemming from crucial upcoming U.S. inflation data and refinery maintenance in Asia and the United States. Brent crude futures fell 74 cents to $85.65 a barrel after a 2.2% gain on Friday. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures was at $78.99 a barrel, and that's down 73 cents after rising 2.1% in the previous session. The U.S. Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates, no news, to rein in on inflation, and that has led to concerns that the move would slow economic activity and demand for oil. China's oil demand recovery is curbing its gasoline exports in February, although its refiners are maintaining diesel shipment at above 2 million tons. Let's come to Nigeria. Now, the Nigerian Security and Printing Minting Company has debunked allegations attributing the current challenge in distributing the 3 designed higher denominations of the Naira notes to a shortage of printing materials at the company. In a statement released over the weekend, the NSPM clarified that it has the capacity to continue printing more of the redesigned notes and clarified that the CBN had stated that the NSPMC was working on printing all denominations of the redesigned currency to meet the transactions need of Nigerians. The NSPMC mentioned that it has made adequate arrangement to continuously produce redesigned banknotes in line with the CBN indent for the year 2023. Meanwhile, the central bank has denied allegations that it plans to shut down some banks in any part of the country. So it doesn't look like we can leave this conversation anytime soon. The issue of the shortage of Naira in the country and, of course, how much you have to pay for Naira. That has become, well, a headache to a whole lot of Nigerians. We've had traders, especially of small businesses, those petty traders really feeling the pinch, you know, all of this. But let's talk to the mobile money agents now to tell us why they're charging us so much. Among other things, we have joining us from Ikeja virtually now, Hussein Olanrewaju. He's the Chief Aggregating Officer of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria. Mr. Olanrewaju, thank you so much for your time this morning. But Nigerians are not very happy, you know, because now people have to buy Naira, and it's mostly from POS agents, mobile money agents, and it's taking different fronts, different costs. You know, tell us really what's going on.
Yeah, thank you, and it's a pleasure to join you today. As regards to the high rate of charges the POS agents are charging, we as an association have gone against it, and we have warned our members to desist from that. However, the reality is these cash are not readily available. As we used to have the market woman, the big merchant who have access to cash, before now, they give out those cash and you transfer normal. But now, then, which is the market people, the traders are also selling the cash. And of course, some agent that goes in extreme to source for this cash will mark up the price. So they sell cash as much as 10% or 15%. So the agent will also mark up based on the availability or how they have access to those cash. But it's worrisome and it's disturbing. And as an association, we've been in talk with the CBN and requesting that agents should be categorized so that we have access to this cash, because we are, as an agent, we have access to the internet where banks are not. And I believe if this is done, it will ease the challenges of scarcity, at least to a certain level.
Yeah, well, thank God you say you've spoken to the CBN, because the CBN has also spoken to Nigeria through the media, promising to intervene. But it seems like there are some of your members who are taking advantage of the situation. I mean, charging someone wants to take 10,000 naira and they charge the person 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira. Someone said how he went to take, I think, 50,000 naira, had to pay 10,000 naira. That's a whole lot. I mean, do you check with your members to ensure that they are not exploiting Nigerians?
Yes, of course. We are doing that already. We will begin to deploy our task force to help us sanitize the environment. We are waiting. We are waiting and trying to tell them, educate them as time goes on, to tell them this is not done. Even, of course, myself, I traveled along Benin or Express Road and I had some issues. I had to pay because I needed to move and I need cash. For 5,000 naira, I think I pay up to 2,000 naira to access 5,000 naira. It's crazy, but it's the reality. And we are trying to use task force joint with security operative to, curb the excesses of agents that are doing such. It's not good, but then they will tell you they buy this naira from a point and they have to at least mark up to just remain in business. We want it to be legal, and that's why we are pleading, and we've been talking with the CBN. Categorize, the policy has some amendment that needs to be done. Agents are not taken care of. They are just treated like normal Nigerians with no special treatment, and they don't have access to cash like is expected to be. There are many banks, and they should categorize agents so that at least if there is a limit to say agent has access to 300,000 per day, and then give individual Nigerian at least 2,000 or 5,000, believe is going to ease the burden, and this issue of charging high will reduce drastically.
All right, while we also stay on the central bank to ensure that, they give some concession to agents, because eventually the agents, spread the money to Nigerians. What can a Nigerian do? What can I do if I feel I'm being exploited? Do you have a number somebody can call and report an agent? Do you have an email or something like that if I feel that someone is, exploiting me, an agent?
Yes, sure. We have email that we give out to people to report such situation, and our numbers are already available to report. And we are doing it based on state levels, such that we know where the calls are coming from, and we can track down where the SSs are. And mind you, not 100% of these agents are actually our members, because we have some platforms who engage in sales approach to the market, and it's difficult to aggregate all of them at a go.
So what's your email though? If I want to report, I don't know if it's your agent or not, but I feel that an agent is not behaving right. Yes, so
you can send an email to ambannigeria@gmail.com. We have Amban, that's AMMBAN Nigeria@gmail.com. That's easily accessible. And you can also call this number 070-3235-4284 to report the situation. We'll take it up from there.
All right. I hope when we send this mail or make this call, there'll be somebody on the other end to pick up the call or answer the mail.
Exactly. We are readily available.
All right.
We are for the masses.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Olarinwaju. Please do work with your agents. We really do need this to be sorted out. All right, and while the mobile money agents also work with their members, they are also calling on the central bank. The central bank governor had promised to have a word or two with those who were connected in the system to ease this time for Nigerians and deal with the charges. The central bank governor did promise that, so we are hoping that the central bank governor will follow through with his words, get more cash to the POS or the mobile money agents, and so let the cash flow in Nigeria and reduce some of those hitches that people are going through. But on the other hand, we do see that electronic transactions in Nigeria have really gained from this. Even though the numbers we have are from 2022, we'll see what to expect in 2023 right after this break. Welcome back. Still watching Business Morning here on Channels Television. And just before that break, I was saying that electronic transactions in Nigeria for 2022 are actually more than 100% increase compared to the previous year at 3.5 billion naira, making Nigeria the 6th globally when it comes to electronic transactions. So this has been attributed to various policies by the Central Bank of Nigeria to boost cashless economy. The latest, of course, is what we discussed before the break. That redesigned naira, mopping up of cash, and the crunch that people have been feeling. Well, to help us see what to expect by the end of this year, we have joining us in the studio Yinka Jones, researcher with African Cities Research Consortium, shares his perspective on the success or otherwise of this. Hi, Yinka, good morning.
Good morning.
So how much cash do you have these days?
I'm actually cashless.
Okay, you've been cashless for a while. You don't do cash?
Well, not cashless in the sense that I do only electronic transactions. I actually don't have cash, really.
Intentionally or? Well,
it's not intentionally. I mean, the other day I went out to buy some stuff, but I couldn't. I went to buy groceries. Myself and my wife went to buy, but we couldn't buy anything. I mean, I can't take public transportation. I mean, no, because I don't have cash. So
why don't you do the transfer and
you know the old story. It's hard now to get through with transactions, with online transactions. It's very, very difficult now. I think that's one of the things we are going to be looking at today. It's very difficult. Even USSD, you can't do. So, I mean,
what do you think happened? I mean, because the CBN is pushing for a cashless policy. If Nigeria is a giant of Africa, and we have countries like in East Africa, Kenya, doing so well with their M-Pesa, and even if you wanted to buy tomatoes, you could do it electronically. Why are we behind?
Now, thank you very much for that question. There are several reasons actually for that. We have to be able to look at things holistically. I think what we do, or what the CBN has actually done in this instance, is to kind of make the policy. However, they have not looked at several elements. They have not looked at it holistically to figure out those elements that are needed in that system to make it work. Okay, you've made a policy, but it's not enough to just make a policy. Some things have to drive that policy. Some elements, if you look at it as a system, there are some elements in that system that actually have to make this thing work. For example, the banks are actually part of that system. Do they have that capacity to make things work? For example, the IT infrastructure. Now, we're talking about cashless, so people have to leave their cash and go cashless, right? Now, but we have to understand the implication of that. It implies that people will have to there's going to be more volume of online transaction, of internet transaction, mobile transactions. But do the banks have the capacity, the IT infrastructure to really kind of to cater for this, to be able to carry this? It's like now, you have a tab, I have a phone. My phone has a limited amount of gigabytes. If I'm to increase my gigabyte, if I'm to if I need a data that is more than that gigabyte, then I have to upgrade my phone. But the banks don't actually have the capacity to cater for the volume of online or mobile transactions. So we have to look at all these key elements to be able to know, do they have the capacity? An example, other instance is, look at the skills. I think it's high time we start looking at things, holistically. Just have a system, and that system approach to things really. Now, what happens in what happens to an element in the system actually has a ripple effect on other elements. When we look at this issue with this, from this perspective, it helps us a lot.
But you know, just before you go on, when you talk about skills, my mind goes to the quality of ICT skills Nigeria has lost at this time.
Exactly.
So I mean, does it mean that is that why we're facing some of the things we're facing when it comes to electronic transactions, especially with the banks? Does it have to do with that? Or even if that did not happen, we didn't have the degree or the amount of people who have left the country, would we still have had, you know, a situation where we have failed transactions?
Well, like I've said earlier, there are so many factors that actually comes to play when it comes to this. In this scenario, there are so many factors. However, that skill is a factor. Take it out, other factors actually come to play. However, it plays a very, very important it plays a very, very important part. Now, if you look at it now, most of the banks don't have the ICT units in all the branches. They are regionalized. So they have, but there's a dearth of skills in Nigeria, even though the ones that are available actually are moving abroad. So there's that dearth of skilled labor. And for example, this cashless policy actually has to do, I mean, it needs some reprogramming of the ATM, because, I mean, there's a specific amount, there's a cap to the amount of naira that you can actually get per day. So there's that cap. That means that all the ATMs have to be reprogrammed. Do they have the manpower to reprogram across?
But we have high unemployment in Nigeria.
Yes.
Can they not be trained to fill in this?
That takes a process. That takes a process. I'm talking about high ICT skills. It doesn't come like overnight. It's high skilled kind of environment. So you need that level of competence. If it is something that you can do overnight, then it's fine. But this can't be done overnight. So, I mean, that's one of the, negative impact of this whole mass exodus.
Well, I mean, the fact, what does an economy gain in going cashless? Why should we be pursuing this cashless policy vigorously as it seems that the CBN wants us to?
Now, I think there are so many benefits to the cashless policy. I mean, CBN has come out to kind of state it openly that it will help to kind of mop up all the, excess cash that are outside the banking vault or the banking system. They said about 80% of Nigerian cash actually is not within the banking sector. So to help to mop up all these monies. And also it will help to check corruption. You can actually, because you can trace where the money is and where the money is going, you can trace. And it also help to kind of check, all the crimes and criminality going on in town. Now you can actually check when you have a cashless policy. So there's so many benefits. There's so many benefits to it. However, the question is it really achieving that? Because there's so much of ECOP now that, the immediate impact is swallowing up the long-term benefits.
We've been told that, there's a price to pay for everything. We heard the Minister of Finance say it's transient. We've heard the CBN governor say that also. So it's just the price to pay for a brighter tomorrow. Is it worthwhile?
It is, but do we really need to go through the hassle?
What should we have done if we wanted to avoid this?
This is planning. You want to. It's a transition phase, right? It's a transition. You're transitioning from one phase to another. And it needs adequate planning. Yes, we can actually bear if it is not really our fault. We can actually bear. I understand that every change that comes with pain is understandable. But is it needful? Could it have been done better? Could it have been kind of soft landing for the people? Yes, I think so, if it was well and more holistically planned. Yeah, if I've put in consideration so many other factors that actually come to play in this, if I've considered its impact on all the other sectors, because most of this, like I've said, one thing, an output from one system actually affects other system in the system, and that's how things run. So it's not enough for us to just look at things in silos or look at things in isolation. You have to look at its impact on other areas and be able to kind of look at ways to ameliorate those impacts so that it doesn't bear too much on the people.
And then we still have some Nigerians outside banking talking about financial inclusion now. I've heard of stories now that people actually prefer to keep their cash at home now, instead of taking it to the bank, because at least when it's in your house, then you can access it. But of course, you also expose yourself to insecurity, and we don't want to, those days when armed robbers used to visit people at home to come. But how do you think it can be accelerated, getting those people in the rural areas, those down there in the social ladder, to believe and trust the banking system enough to get their data and be included in the banking system?
Great question. Now, over 60% of Nigerians actually work in the informal sector, and these are the large chunk that are kind of excluded financially. And unfortunately, most of them are women, really. So, and Nigeria, we should not deny the fact that the economy is still cash-based, mostly. So we shouldn't deny that fact. We are largely cash dependent. So, and like I've said, most people would rather hold their money, for example, now. In fact, to have cash now, it's like a big investment. It's like a big asset, really, because you can actually trade and make more money from what you have. I was at the filling station some time back, and it was funny the way the economy now the economy around cash. You have to buy. The filling station are not. They're not accepting card, and they're not accepting transfer. So they collect the cash. And in return sell it to ATM. The ATM sell it to us. That was what happened right before me. They sell it to me, and I pay. And that's how it goes. It keeps circling.
Then we just spoke to the mobile money agent. Now they charge you for that.
They charge. And it's not
because the filling station is also charging them.
I'm paying 2 times now. I have to pay the filling station. I have to pay the ATM, the ATM operators. I have to pay them, and it's not cheap. 1,000 naira. For 1,000 naira, for what we don't 1,000 naira, you pay like 200 naira also. For 5,000 naira, I paid 1,000 naira. Yeah. For 10,000 naira, it was 2,000 naira. That's exorbitant. And in some places, you even get more. You have to pay more. So,
we certainly cannot continue like this.
We can't really. We
cannot continue like this. You have to pay for naira. It doesn't. I don't think it's something we have to continue. But we'll keep talking about it as the media and see how it goes. Well, thank you so much, Inka Jones, a researcher with African Cities Research Consortium. Thank you so much. We do hope to get those skills back or train the new ones and get our bank apps working, because if we want to do cashless, then we certainly need a place to go to. We have the e-naira. We're not hearing a lot about it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you.
All right. So one of Nigeria's leading real estate and property development companies, Wema Board Limited, has held the maiden edition of its Real Estate Outlook Summit Conference in this year, 2023. The conference brought together professionals in the industry and provided a platform for stakeholders to bear their minds on the future of the markets.
This gathering of financial experts, economists, investors, government officials, and other stakeholders in the real estate industry is to discuss the latest trends and provide insights into the future of the market in 2023.
Our expectation is that this will provide all sector players the opportunity to gauge the operating environment and real estate investment opportunities with well-informed strategies towards creating sustainable growth of the real estate sector of the economy.
It is a trite law that real estate sector cannot operate in isolation of the macroeconomic environment. Hence, they need to for us to have a proper understanding of the dynamics of the economy with a view to enhancing our real estate investment decision-making process.
The conference is the brainchild of Wema Board Limited for professionals in the industry to brainstorm on how to advance the sector for sustainable growth.
So what I want us to talk about is how government can help the issue of housing, and how do we do that to make funds available at single-digit rate, like Bank of Industry is doing to support SMEs. And the only way it can be done is for the mortgage banks to fund them.
The keynote speaker, the CEO of Financial Derivatives Company Limited, Mr. Bismarck Rewane, speaks on the shift in the industry as it relates to leadership.
There's a transition in this country taking place that is making, one, imperfect markets to perfect markets in that sense. And it's a long journey. Also, there's a transition of people's awareness and the demand for good governance, which is followed by the supply of good governance.
The panel session then provides a platform for experts to drive conversations aimed at promoting investment, facilitating collaboration, and growing the industry. This is the maiden edition of the Real Estate Outlook Summit Conference 2023, which Wema Board Limited hopes will be a premier event for professionals in the real estate industry.
You're welcome back. It's another financial issue now as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, is warning that the activation of the mobile SIM card 5G service, some individuals are taking advantage of that. The need to update SIM cards to defraud some other Nigerians. How is this working? How can you avoid that? Well, we have Judo Zinegbe now. He's the digital transformation expert and founder at CyberChain and also the managing partner at Zenochrome to speak to this. Hi, Jude. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here.
Good to have you. So what's all this SIM swap? We obviously want better service, internet service, so we want to do 5G.
Yes.
But now we're at risk of being defrauded. You know, how does it work?
Okay. With the 5G comes, of course, lots of services, which is one of the offshoots of digital transformation, because we are in the digital economy now. However, we have seen that some bad players are taking advantage of this. Okay, so lots of people now want to change their SIM cards from 4G to 5G. Some even are still using 3G SIM cards, but they also need to change to 5G, like I've done. So we have seen that some guys are taking advantage of this, calling Nigerians and telling them that the network operator wants to change their SIM card from 4G to 5G and send them a code and tells them to accept or click on that code, and with that their SIM card can be upgraded to 5G. What we'll say is no network operator that we know would call users and tell them to accept a code or whatsoever. So the rule of thumb is to be wary of such calls, first of all. Yeah, so those are the things we are seeing now, and those are some of the offshoots, which are the cons, the negative side of digital transformation.
So obviously it's a necessity, but we're having, like, the businesses are being exposed.
Yes.
You know, because I remember at the beginning of the year we've had some outlook to say that cybersecurity is the highest at this time. But what if somebody wanted to move from 3G or 4G to 5G? You would have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
It will not be a call from the service provider.
No.
Okay, all right. But so when these calls come, and we've talked about it, how is somebody supposed to handle it? You're only at risk if you click on the code.
Yes.
Okay, but you're not at risk if you answer the call.
Okay, so when you answer the call, most of the time you'll be convinced, you know, to click on that code. So the easiest thing to do is ignore the call. In some cases, you can report that number so it can be flagged. The good thing is we have some call verifying services or apps that identify the sources of calls or numbers that have been flagged before. You can see a call coming in and an app can just pop up and show that this is a spam call, you know. So if those calls, if those numbers are reported, it gives the mobile operators more information to be able to flag such numbers. And even the user, the moment you see that, it's a deterrent already not to accept such calls. You know, we get it. No mobile phone is secure from such. So those calls will come in, the messages will come in, but those messages and calls are not coming from the mobile operators.
So what if somebody now clicks as this should click?
Yes. So the calls are generated from nefarious actors, and behind the wherever they're making those calls are connected systems and softwares and all of that. Those codes have features embedded in it. So these features are like softwares that can take control of your devices. When you click on those codes, you've given access to these bad players to come into your device. The moment they are able to do that, perhaps you may notice glitters on your device. They may have maybe network disruption, service may go off and all of that. They've gained access into the device. So the best thing to do, first of all, is not to open the window at all. Don't click on a code you're not sure of the source. Don't install a software you're not sure of the source. Now, the thing is, our devices are smart devices, so it may even inform you that the source of this software is unknown. Sometimes some people, because they want to download something that looks nice, okay, so now Valentine is coming. So you'll be seeing lots of apps popping up and messages saying a gift is coming from someone. Yesterday, I think I got a message like that a political party was giving a grant. And of course, Nigerians, with the way things are going on, people want to latch on that and jump on it. Those are misleading messages. So the moment you click on it, you've opened the window for these guys to come in. And the moment they have control of the device, it's difficult to gain access to that device immediately, because the moment they have that, they're able to swap the number from your SIM card to a SIM card that they have access and control over. Now, that's the first step. The moment they're able to gain access to the SIM card, the next step is to gain access to your financial account, which is where OTP comes in. So OTP is one-time password, or in some other cases, one-time passcode. It is a code that you now get from a financial institution when you want to make a transaction. So being able to get your mobile number, they pretend or pose to be the owner of that account and contact the financial institution saying they want to make a transaction or they want to change or update something. And because the financial institution is not seeing a person, it is seeing an account, it will send the one-time password or passcode to that number that they have control over. The moment they're able to get that, they log into the account and are able to make transactions with someone else's account. Another thing we've seen is the microloans. So the moment they can get access to the phone numbers, they may not even gain access to someone's account. They will use that phone number and apply for a flash loan with the microloan services. And in 5 minutes, someone can take a loan of 20,000, 80,000, as the case may be, with somebody else's phone number. Then after a while, these guys come to realize that they are getting calls after 2 weeks, 1 month, that someone took a loan from this microloan service, and they say they never took a loan, but when the number is checked, it's their phone number. There are lots of other activities that can go on with this. So personal security awareness, like you are doing at Channels TV, and as the EFCC has put out from the cybercrime department, these things help to educate and inform Nigerians that nefarious actors are out there. While the financial institutions are doing their part, the users are also required to do their part. From the financial institutions, they can provide things like two-factor authentication, so that even if there's a need for a passcode, there's still something else that you can provide. It can be something you have, which is a password, or something that you are, which is biometric. You have an eye, you have a fingerprint, so you can either use biometric to approve a transaction. So with that, the account can be safe. So everybody has to be involved in this triangle of transactions.
Yeah, so it's not just the third party or the financial. But assuming this happens, how can somebody recover their account or their number?
Fantastic. It's usually not so easy to recover it immediately. However, it's possible. So the moment you start noticing that there is a glitch in your account, or you're getting messages from other people that they were contacted, you can quickly look for how to call your mobile operator, maybe from another phone number, and you inform them that your account has been compromised, your phone number has been compromised. They will ask some questions, you provide those answers, whatever the parameters are, you're able to provide them. They will look for a way to do the recovery. Sometimes it's not as easy as it sounds, may take up to a day or 2 days, as the case may be. Some other times you may need to walk in to the mobile operator's service center and do a physical capture and all of that, and the number can be recovered. Same goes with the financial institutions. You can contact them immediately. As a matter of fact, the moment you realize that your number has been compromised, you should contact your financial institutions immediately. If you can log in with email and all of that, change passwords. The first thing to do is to change passwords, because it's the financial account that is the ultimate target, not just the phone number. So you change password. The moment you change password and you beef it up by using two-factor authentication and all of that, it's now difficult for them to gain access to that account. And because these guys have limited time to operate, the moment they see that an account is difficult to get into, they abandon it and go for the next, because it's a thing of time, it's a game of time. So if they don't have enough time on their hand, they abandon the difficult accounts and go for the ones that are easy to gain access to.
Now, there's this notion that sometimes workers in the bank are collaborators with some of these, defrauding processes that go on. How true is that?
Well, it's not confirmed. It will need the financial institutions or the banks to put out these reports. Yes, but it is not something we can ignore, because in some cases, there have been reports to us that the moment people receive money, some sum of amount that is huge in their accounts, they get some calls. I've experienced it before. So there was a time I received quite a good figure in one of my business accounts. In less than 5 minutes, I was getting a call from that bank to make one kind of update or whatever. And I called my account officer immediately to verify if someone within their team was putting out that call. And she said no. So I had to forward, so a message was even sent to me after the call. So I had to forward the message to my account officer, and they verified and said, this is not coming from within them. However, it's possible there's a breach, So another thing is our emails can be intercepted. So whilst you are receiving alerts on your phone, either by SMS, you may also be receiving by emails. And some of these emails we have used on social media accounts. Different social media accounts. So there is a social engineering that these guys can use and intercept the email as well. So it's possible they might have seen a figure coming into that account and make an attempt. They always want to make the attempt. So it is when you open the door, the window, by accepting the information, doing those steps that they've given, that will now make them able to gain access to the account. So we cannot confirm if there are internal breaches, but we cannot dismiss it as well. It's possible.
And then on the other hand, on the customer side, the notion of greed, as you noted, a mail is sent to you that, you did not apply for a job, you did not apply for a lottery, and then you get a mail or a text message telling you you have won, or call this number so you can get rewarded, or you can, I think you should know it.
Okay, so to be scanned, there is always an element of either greed or ignorance. That's why awareness is always very important. The average Nigerian on the streets, like they say from the trenches, wants to blow. And they see an opportunity, to come and booger, as it were. And the next thing is, if I accept this offer, I get money that I did not work for. I mean, who does that? However, people should be informed that if it seems too good to be true, obviously, it may not be true. So money that you did not apply for, grants that you did not initiate, just shows up like one lucky wand, and people are jumping at it. We see it in lots of social media groups, platforms, and people just jump at it and say it's an opportunity to get rich. No millionaire got there by one lucky offer. So Nigerians should start dissuading their minds from all these unscrupulous offers that we see here and there. Even the microloans, we see lots of identity and information theft from there as well. So one microloan service comes out that is not registered from anywhere, and because it's very easy to put up apps now on the App Store, is there on an app store, and you see adverts and they say, okay, in 5 minutes you get 300,000. From where? And people go there and freely give out all their information, including BVN. That should be very secure to the user. So these are social engineering tactics that these guys use to get information. So whether it is a free offer, whether it is whatever money that is coming to an entrepreneur, do not accept it. Keep yourself secure, work, and with posterity, somehow with grace,
But people,
you'll get something.
some Nigerians say, okay, there's also the space for miracles to happen. But men, as you said, if it's too good to be true, most probably it isn't true.
Yes.
So we all have to protect ourselves.
Definitely.
And I mean, the resources we have worked so hard to earn over the years. Thank you so much, Judo Zunibe, digital transformation expert, for giving us those tips this morning.
Thank you.
So there you hear from Jude. It is also your responsibility to stay safe and keep your resources safe. So even when you get that message that sounds too good to be true, or comes across as too good to be true, please do watch out, because it may just not be true. And please don't click on that link except you're sure where it's coming from. And even if you answer the call, please don't follow up with instructions. Most probably they want to defraud you, and this is not a good time to get defrauded at all. Now let's head to the markets and see what the numbers are. I do know that for the equities, the market was quite good for last week, but we'll see a summary of it. Yes, the all-share index was in the green, 0.21%. Equities at 29.591. I think sometime during the week it did drop lower than that, but thank God at least it's 29.5, almost 29.6 there. If we see the gain, the activity all in red for last week, 18 deals, 18,615 deals in total, volume and value all in the red. It was a very topsy-turvy week that we had last week. For the sectors now, the only greens were industrial goods, oil and gas. We saw a lot of uncertainty with the banking. That's the most liquid, so you can almost use it to measure. We saw a lot of the big guys go up and down. And then industrial goods in the green, 0.65. Oil and gas, 0.63. Now let's go to the gainers. Triple G, iron, corn oil made it to some of the top gainers during the week. And then the losers for the week were FTN Cocoa, Prestige Assurance, and Japo Gold. You know, maybe more credit should be given to the insurance as a part of the financial sector, because, I mean, all through the week, I think they were like trying to make it up there. Top gainers or top trades for the week, GTCO, and there you have it, that's insurance again. You know, they topped a lot of trade during the week, and then Transcore for the past week. Let's move to the other market now, the NESD unlisted market. We see a positive there that's the advancer. Thank you so much. We saw a negative, however. We have not gone back to that 1 trillion naira that the market cap has benchmark. It's been a difficult one for the unlisted market, but it was down more than 1% for the week. And then if we see the others, there you have it, the volume, 56 deals at 30.97 million naira. Let's go to the fixed income market. That was quite busy during the week. We did see that auction on Wednesday, and then on Friday, of course, we had the other FX auction. If you can see the fixed income there, you have it. So this is for FX trading, a total of 530.30. Week-on-week change was in the negative, however, almost 0.5%, the forward and the futures. But let's have Eki join us now to help us understand some of the other details with the FX market. Good morning, Eki. Thank you so much for your time this morning. It's Monday, but let's let's look back a little bit and see how last week was, the auction that we had on Wednesday, on Friday. What does it tell us about the market at this time?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. So it starts from the FX market. The FX market last week was really quiet, as there was really no activity on that on that sector. The CBN actually sold the for invisibles and SMEs market, that FX for them, and ordinarily the volumes there was very thin. So the results for the last auction came out coming out on this Friday. It came out last week, and the next auction will be going out this Friday. Then for the fixed income markets, for the treasury bill market, it was active due to the high level of liquidity in the market. Midweek, we saw the DMO, as rightly said, conduct the auction where they had about 217 billion on offer across the standard tenures, and that results they sold about 200 billion above what was on offer. The stock rate came out at 0.1, 0.3, and about 2.24 for the long tenor. As for the 1 year, during the end of the week, we saw an kind of more activity on the long end due to the unmet demand that was on the auction from the previous day.
So, how much of all of this can we attribute to the election? The election is, I think, 12 days away from today. How much of it, we do know, I mean, a lot of investors become very uncertain, when the election gets close. How much of it can we connect?
Yes, the election is coming up in a few days, and of course, there's a lot of liquidity in the market. Of course, when it's pre-election, you always see a lot of activity going on in the market, but now the rates are really on the low side. Again, there's a bond auction that will be held today, and we see again the DMO come to borrow about 360 billion from the market. So we just think that it's a way of the CBN taking more funds from the market, even if the rates are not really at fantastic points at this time.
Yeah, so in spite of the fact that we don't have a lot of cash running out there, the CBN is still back in the market. But how is this affecting investor sentiment? I mean, the redesigned Naira policy, the cash swap, the crunch that people are feeling. Is it seeping into the market?
Yes, we see the cash swap. The issues are still there. Of course,
all right.
We saw a bit of increase in the market, but it's not really that significant compared to what we have going on in the market right now, because I wouldn't really attribute that increase in the market on the cash swaps that has been going on. So we had 40 billion maturity from the OMO market, from the OMO bills last week into the market. So that was part of what actually increased the market liquidity for the week. All
right, Eki, just briefly now, what do you expect from the auction today?
From the bond auction, we see, if not lower than what is trading at the moment, a bit either lower or the maintained same rate. It's hovering around 7.4 to about 11.5 across tenors, so we expect it to remain same or at most get a bit lower. So we'll see the rates going on the long short end.
All right, Eki, thank you so much for your time this morning, and I do wish you a profitable trading day today. Eki Teddy Onagise is a treasury coverage with Access Bank.
Thank you.
All right, so I give way now to another market, and that's the crypto market. Ladi comes to tell us how much Naira they are hiding. How much Naira are you guys hiding, Ladi? Because we're looking for Naira like desperately now.
I know, yeah, but the Naira is somewhere, in the cloud. But
because the printing and minting have told us they have the ability or the capability to print. The CBN has said, I mean, we've had the Federal Council meet and say, okay, more money should be made available, but where is the Naira? Where is our Naira, Ladi? Maybe it's somewhere in this red.
Well, maybe, yeah, but all of that happened, electronically. So what we're looking for is cash.
Yes, it's
at
cash.
This point.
Cash we can touch.
Yeah, exactly. Tangible. At this point, we know how intangible the crypto market is. Look at the fear greed index. We see it's neutral. Today we're moving away from greed at this point, looking at neutral now, 48 points, showing that the market is somewhat tending, towards fear at this point. 48 points, seeing the market cap now, that's standing there on 1 trillion. $1 trillion there, could lose the $1 trillion mark, might have lost it at this hour, down 0.26%. We see volume traded, that's up about 29.35% on sell pressure we're seeing at the market right now. Bitcoin dominance, 41.52%, that's up 0.19%. And we look at the price of Bitcoin this morning, $21,850. Looking like we're going to lose that 21.5 support at this time. Volume traded $19.33 billion. And if we look at the charts now, looking at the one-day chart, we see there's a golden cross there setting up already. But if you look at the weekly charts, that's farther away, we also see a death cross forming right there. So kind of conflicting time frames we're having right now with the chart showing the moving averages. So on one hand, we have a golden cross, and a longer frame, we have the death cross. So it remains to be seen what happens next, because we know how dreaded the death cross is in this market. It shows an indication that a downturn, might be coming for the market. Let's look at the price of Ethereum now. That's $1,519, down 0.93%. Let's bring in Olumide Adesina now, financial market analyst. Hello, Olumide, good morning.
Hello, Ladi. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. So the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission in the news again, and this time it looks like they're going after stable coins. We got that headline. Last time it was about the staking with Kraken, but now it's BUSD that's on.
So that's debatable. But the problem is that Binance USD has a systemic importance in the crypto market. It's the third largest stablecoin by market value. Because Binance has about 120 million users, it plays a lot of systemic importance in market liquidity. But having said that, you also need to look at the fact that the US dollar is rallying. It has increased more than 17 basis points against major currency pairs because it looks like inflation data for January, according to economists, had an uptick. So inflation data tomorrow has kept some investors profit-taking, knowing fully well that Bitcoin and the crypto market had a good January, and they will not want to be caught unawares. But, like rightly said, the support level 21,500 for Bitcoin, it will be a key watch. A break below that definitely might see us back to the 20,000 level. And, the way things are playing, geopolitical tension, the Chinese balloons, United States shooting on different objects, investors really don't want to be caught unawares that day. So risk off this week.
Risk off. And before I let you go, Olumide, quickly now, can the market survive without stable coins?
Pretty much they can, but you need to understand the important stablecoin play. They provide liquidity, and for investors that don't want to remove their funds to fiat currency, that's what it's used for. But time is, it's very difficult for you not to be exposed to stablecoin. But definitely, the market can do with stablecoin in the long run.
Yeah, because everyone needs that asset that doesn't go up or down and can just stay, stable while there's all that volatility in the market. Thank you so much, Olumide Adesina, financial market analyst.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see, because this market does need stability.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can't imagine crypto without stable coins.
That would be a lot of wreckage.
I'm telling you. Anyway, thank you so much. We'll see you at 1:30 for Business Incorporated. Well, that's it, this very first day of the week. Thank you so much for being a part of it. It might be difficult. You're trying to get that cash and do that transaction. We promise you here in Channels Television, we'll stay on those issues until we get a solution, and we'll continue tomorrow. I'm Ini John Mekwa. Do have a profitable business day, and I'll see you tomorrow.